Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the March 3rd, 2020 Board of Selectmen's meeting. Can I have a roll call, please?
Selectmen Slavin, Manise, Bruce, Tropiano are present, as well as town council. Absent are Selectmen Titlebaum and town administrator.
Okay, Pledge of Allegiance. How about you, Alan?
Okay. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Okay, announcements. We'll start with Alan.
This announcement has been happening too often lately. Unfortunately, we lost Dr. Tom Gleason this past weekend, another victim of cancer, which seems to be really prevalent in the town more and more. I'd ask for a moment of silence again for Dr. Gleason's family, Kathy, etc., with our condolences. Thank you. Thank you.
That was kind of a surprise.
Yes.
It wasn't
Was-
expected, but when they...
Very
family, I don't wanna get
unexpected.
into it.
You know, to go, he went in for one kind of surgery, and then the next thing you know,
Yeah.
wow. I mean, it just
Yep.
was like crazy.
Okay.
I feel bad. He was a great guy.
Yep, he was.
Okay, Jim? Any other?
Pass.
Okay. Mary?
The greeting book that the Howie and Claire Smith are going to be taking to Wareham, England with them is over at the library, so people can go in there and write their well wishes and things like that to take over there. And also the Saturday, March 14th, 5:30 to 8:30, the Onset Bay Association's mostly annual chili contest will be held Saturday, March 14th
Mostly.
at Stone Path Malt. Everyone is invited to bring their best chili, vegetarian or meat lovers, amateurs, professionals, whatever. Attendees will vote on their winner, and the winner will receive a $250 cash prize and, of course, bragging rights. This event is for 21 and older. Admission is $20 in advance or $25 at the door. Just go on the newspaper's websites or the magazines to see all the details. Newspaper.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. Citizens' comments. Anybody? No. Okay. Oh, yes? Okay, come on down. Just state your name when you come down, please.
My name is Lauren.
You got to do it right into one of those microphones, okay? Because otherwise they won't hear you at home.
Timer, do I have to press any buttons?
Yeah, just, nope, I think
it
you're good.
green?
You can,
Just speak in? You
yeah,
can
just
hear me?
speak right in.
Okay, my name is Lauren Filkins, and today I was doing a workout at Onset, the Lopes Playground in Onset. Familiar, everybody?
Yeah.
And I noticed there's no trash barrel, and I want to know why and what can we do to get it there, because I myself brought a trash bag and some gloves and cleaned up dirty diapers. And just, it was like kind of disheartening to see all the trash just strewn around the area. And there's a trash can on Onset Ave a little bit further up, like where the Onset Village Market is. So why can't there be one at the playground where kids play, you know?
Well, we don't have the answer for you.
So municipal services doesn't deal with that, or they should?
Municipal service, if there's a barrel out there, it doesn't belong to us.
Yeah, there's not a barrel. That's my question. Like, we have one on.
Because we have a
Onset,
carry-in,
that's-
we have a
that's-
carry-in, carry-out policy, which we've had for a
I mean,
bunch of
there's
years
signs all
now.
over the place, like, keep Onset clean. Like, what can we do to get a trash barrel there?
Well, we're gonna, if there were dirty diapers there, we're gonna have to do some
I cleaned it.
investigation.
I left.
No,
my
I
bag.
appreciate that, and we appreciate that. But we'll get back to you, okay? If you could, is the book, where's the book? Could you give her the book?
I do not have it, but we can
We got a
certainly
book.
see.
We'd like you to write the comments in there and your contact information. We'll do a little homework. We'll get back to you, okay?
Yeah.
And
Might be able to move one of the big
there
buildings.
was,
I have young children that like to play at
Yeah.
that park, and
Yeah.
it's just.
Yeah, I know. I've cleaned up more trash than
Yeah,
I
I mean,
No.
that's,
ever.
and
when it comes together, that's what I like to hear.
Yep.
and Marie Grigg does it. There was a barrel there that the
That's what I'm saying, at one point.
four square church
What can
put
we
it
do
there, and they
there?
took care of it. They also had one in the parking lot there. across, and then they provided it to try to help keep the stuff
I mean,
clean.
if
When you
it-
have a lot of people that come
Is it
to
a
one
town?
place,
park?
It's inevitable you're gonna have trash.
Yeah, is it a town park, though? I mean, is it a town?
Yes, it
park?
is.
Okay, so that's my question, is like,
Okay,
if it is a
just-
town park, can we get a trash can?
Just write it
now?
in the book, please, and we'll let you know.
Yep.
Sounds good, and today is the 3rd?
Yep.
Yes. All right, next, anybody else here to speak to us? Okay, moving on. Board comments, Alan.
We got notice today, it should be in everybody's packet, a separate envelope. The renewal is coming up for the energy aggregation.
Yeah, we saw that.
We're in the first year of the program with only 5 communities, including ourselves. The new program that we'll get back into will include the Serped region, which will be an additional 20. And we're expecting the savings to go up from about 3 cents to 6 or 7 cents, it looks like. But if you look at your package, you'll see the
We got it.
projections, et cetera. So we'll need to delegate somebody to, probably mostly Derek, when the bid goes in April. And the bid goes in, then someone has to sign off once the bid goes in as
For
well.
your time.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
So take a look at it, read it through it. It's pretty informative, but we're going to have to follow through with some steps on it.
Yep.
That's it for me.
That's it?
Yep.
Jim?
I was talking with Alan earlier, reading the local news articles about the Route 6 Serped study and the recommendations. It doesn't seem to be mentioning Wareham as on the, on the list to have some of the intersections taken care of. It's like, Mattapoisett, Marion, and then it kind of stopped. So, and I spoke with Alan, and,
Well, Serped, you should,
well, I'm
Serped's
just
studying that
saying,
road,
and I
right?
didn't see Wareham mentioned in the articles. And Marion put something on their town website, which I haven't read yet, but I'm going to. Of course, like you said, it's 5 or 6 years down the road. So I was just a little surprised at that. And I saw, I guess we're going to take care of it later, that I was surprised that we got, I found in the newspaper too, that we received a donation of a new emergency vehicle.
Hospital.
The hospital, yeah, it was donated. It. I didn't know it was coming.
well, we haven't accepted the donation yet, so.
Right. It was just, been kind of nice.
So if there's a
I
new
know these
emergency
things.
vehicle running around, it hasn't been accepted by the town,
That's all.
that's a problem. But we'll deal with it.
I just, it'd be nice to kind of know these things.
Just
Thank
a
you.
quick answer for Jim is the Route 6 program up at the Selectman's office. There's actually a printout of all of it, which I brought up and I left at the last meeting I gave up there, which explains it all, showing all the different intersections. And as I told Jim, the Route 6 intersection with Swift Beach Road, I've had them, I've asked them, because it was rated, I believe, an F, the only one of the whole stretch, which is a failure. And that one there is being worked on separately on a different time schedule. But the other ones going all the way through there, they'll rate it from A, B, and C. And they'll do certain work on each one of them as they do the study, if they go ahead. And every town has to sign off and actually vote to go ahead with this project.
Okay.
But again, the information is all sitting up in the Selectman's office right at the counter. Anybody wants to read it, and I'll see if maybe Matt can get it posted as well.
Okay,
That would be nice.
very nice. Okay, anything else? Mary?
Nope.
Okay. All right, so let me put my glasses on so I can see some of the fine print here. All right, the Destination Plymouth to discuss the Plymouth 400th celebration. How are you? Could you state your name right away and then we can get that out of the way?
Certainly. My name is Lee Filson. I'm the
All right.
Executive Director of Sea Plymouth.
All right, good.
Just as a quick thing before we start, if you remember about 3 or 4 weeks ago, maybe even before that, I said I would reach out to Plymouth to get some idea where we are and somehow how we can get involved. Also, we're not a member of the Plymouth organization. We had been for years. When Paul Cripps passed away, everything kind of fell apart. So I basically got a hold of Lee and stuff, and we asked him to come and talk to us about this. So that's what this is.
Okay,
Thank you, Lee.
Thank
what
you
can you
for-
tell us?
Thank you for inviting me, first of all. Well, first of all, I'll go through some of the things that are happening in Plymouth during the 2020 year, and then kind of pull Wareham into it as I can. But For the 400th anniversary of the Mayflower Voyage, there's much, much planned in Plymouth this year. April 24th is their actual official commemoration opening ceremony, and that is going to happen from 10:30 to 2. And in addition to the ceremonies in Memorial Hall, there's also a waterfront festival, basically, with all sorts of things set up and all sorts of areas for people to come and see all sorts of things. There'll be, before the actual 24th begins, there will be a procession with over 1,200 marchers, and it's mostly military related. The U.S. Army Old Guard Fife and Drum Corps, veterans and active duty military, historic military units, Ancient and Honorable Artillery of Massachusetts, the Honorable Artillery Company of London, the U.S. Air Force Drill Team and Color Guard. Pilgrim descendant groups will be there. College and high school drum corps will be marching. Reenactment groups, New Plymouth Guard, the Salem Trained Band, the Piscataway Scouts, Kentish Guards, and the Gold Dragoons. And inside, once the procession is over, it starts at Leiden Street and comes through the Historic District down Court to Memorial Hall. And once people get inside, some people will go in for the ceremonies, others will break off and go on to the waterfront to start entertaining there. But inside will be the Plymouth Philharmonic Orchestra, the Plymouth Student Chorus, and I can't see without my glasses either. There will be visual narratives, spoken perspectives from the Wampanoag leaders, national and international dignitaries, state and federal officials, and representatives of the UK, the Netherlands, and colony partners. All over town, there will be watch parties, and it will be broadcast on NBC 10. So if you wanted to make that public here as well, people can watch the entire ceremony from their homes if they would like on NBC 10. It will be broadcast live. Down on the waterfront, we'll have the Massachusetts National Guard, the U.S. Army 101st Field Artillery, some more reenactors, the Lambert High School Marching Band, the Army Old Guard Fife and Drum Corps, University of Massachusetts Minutemen Marching Band, and the Column-Sealed Pipe Band. And so that will all happen between about 10 and 2. And the entire thing will go only between 10 and 2. So the next thing that happens after that will be on May the 21st, and that's when the ship Mayflower returns to Plymouth. And it will be coming to us from Boston. It will have been in Boston for about 5 days next to the U.S. Constitution, doing some touring there. But it returns to us that on the 21st, weather permitting, of course, and it will be at the Plymouth waterfront, and we are expecting massive amounts of people to be there. After that, in June, on the 27th and 28th, we've got the official maritime salute to the 400th anniversary. They're going to pay tribute to the Pilgrim's journey on board the Mayflower from Plymouth, England, to the site of Plymouth Colony in the New World. There will be wooden ships, yachts, workboats, official vessels, pleasure craft, all culminating in a traditional New England lobster dinner on the waterfront. There will be military fanfare and maritime programming throughout the day. After that, on August the 1st, we move from June to August, and then there will be a Wampanoag Ancestors Walk. That's going to happen in the Plymouth Historic and Cultural District. They will march and walk led by the Wampanoag tribes of Massachusetts. Placards will be carried with the names of the original 69 villages of the Wampanoag Nation. Participants will pay homage to Massasoit and King Philip and will stop at designated sites to bless the spots where Wampanoag ancestors walked. The walk will conclude with a drum ceremony and a ceremony to native souls, followed by a reception. The next event after that will happen in Boston on September the 14th, and that is the official State House salute to the 400th. It is in the Boston State House. It will honor the Pilgrim forefathers and Native peoples who are immortalized in the historic founding of Plymouth Colony. The General Society of Mayflower Descendants, Pilgrim families and Wampanoag families will be in attendance. Additionally, they are inviting participants, including the governor, state legislators, federal legislators, representatives of the UK and the Netherlands, as well as the Ancient and Honorable Artillery. And I do believe that American ancestors will be there as well from the New England Historic and Genealogical Society. Later in September, between the 12th and the 19th, the General Society of Mayflower Descendants will be having their Congress. So thousands of descendants from all around America and the world will be coming to Plymouth for that. Some of the events that they'll have, many are private, but they'll have a Provincetown event where they take ferries from Boston, Provincetown, and from Plymouth, and they will all meet out in the bay, and they'll do a memorial wreath dropping to the pilgrims who died that first winter, approximately in the place where the compact was signed. After that, there will be a luncheon in Provincetown. Then everybody will get on ferries and go back to either Boston, Plymouth, or back on shore in Provincetown. They'll also be holding a naturalization ceremony at Memorial Hall. And they'll be doing a Pilgrim's Progress, which of course means people dressed in Plymouth garb will do a progress starting at the Mayflower Society House, coming around to the sarcophagus and the Massasoit statue, up Leyden Street, all the way up to First Church, which is now the Mayflower Meeting House. September the 19th, there will be an embarkation festival at the Plymouth Municipal Airport. And that's going to be a cultural and arts festival that will honor the traditions, cuisine, and music of not only the settlers and the Wampanoag people, but of the diverse immigrants who followed and contributed to the fabric of American life. Invited dignitaries will include heads of state, celebrities, and students from around the world. And anyone that wants to come and set up there is being encouraged to do so in order to honor the immigrants that come from their towns or places. The Indigenous History Conference and Powwow will be happening between October 29th and November 1st at Bridgewater State University. This conference will address the legacy of colonization experienced by Wampanoag and other Native peoples in the now New England area. The conference is going to be divided into 3 sections. Day 1 will discuss what traditional life was like before the time of European contact. Day 2 will discuss the processes of colonization, what colonization really is, how it impacted people at the time, and how it is an ongoing process that continues to impact Native peoples and tribes today. Day 3 will be a discussion about what Wampanoag and Native peoples are doing today to carry on their cultures and traditions and continue as tribal entities. And Day 4 is a powwow. Speakers and presenters will include both Native and non-Native scholars and cultural experts, with the emphasis on the primacy of Native voice and the validity of these perspectives and insights on Indigenous people, history, and culture. The conference is going to officially close on Sunday with a traditional powwow to which all are welcome to attend. The conference will be filmed and recorded so that it may be prepared as curriculum for classroom use at all levels. Then in November, for about 5 days, there will be a series of events called Illuminate Thanksgiving. These are events leading up to the Thanksgiving holiday, promoting gratitude and giving. The youth-oriented events are designed to create an inspirational atmosphere anywhere that people gather to stimulate gratitude and giving in communities, groups, and families. And it is based on Governor William Bradford's quote from the 1600s, "As one small candle may light 1,000, so the light here kindled hath shone unto many." The One Small Candle Award will be given to an individual who has made a difference in many lives at a young age. So the schedule for those 5 days, on the November 20th, there will be America's Hometown Thanksgiving Concerts. On the 21st, the America's Hometown Thanksgiving Parade. November 22nd will be an Illuminate Thanksgiving Festival and the One Small Candle Ceremony. The 23rd and 24th will be Thanksgiving Festival events along the waterfront, And on the 25th, the Illuminate Thanksgiving main event, which happens when people carry candles from the Mayflower Meeting House down Leiden Street to the waterfront, and they do a ceremony about Illuminate Thanksgiving. At the same time that is happening on that day, there will also be illumination ceremonies happening both in the UK and in Leiden. So there is a good chance that they will be simulcasting to each other and talking to each other throughout that event. So for our travelers that visit throughout the season, we have many things planned every day, and those are many things of which, and many people of which, we're going to expect to refer to all of our areas around us and to all of the various places in the county, as well as Wareham. But Plymouth Plantation, every day of the week, will have events specifically about the 400th, along with the classes and other educational experiences that they offer. Of course, there will be museum tours at all of the house museums like Hedge House and the Spooner House, the Mayflower Society House, Pilgrim Hall Museum, and others. Trolley tours will continue to go on, and they will simply take people around the town, showing them all of the monuments. Whale watching, of course, and the pirate cruises for the kids that are very, very popular. We'll have music venues as well as theater performances, and the restaurant scene now, of course, is very, very trendy. We have a bunch of microbreweries that have opened up, including really good restaurants that basically will serve you just about any ethnicity of food that you may like. It's become a very happening scene, and it's become busier and busier even through the winter as people drive in to try out the food. So the other thing that we've done too that we've never had before, we always felt that missing in our tourism product was a way to get around, to get up the hills and down, because as you know, we're on hills and it's tough walking for people. So this year we're doing a pilot program from May through September with Ride Circuit. And Ride Circuit is in most major cities. You simply download it on your phone, and you can call it for a ride, or you can hail it when it goes by. There will be 4 cars driving around. They hold about 7 passengers, but they're large. They're more like English taxis, that sort of thing. But they're all electric, and they're free. So that's something that we're really excited about, and we hope to continue as we go. We do continue to expect large crowds. I know for the descendants, for instance, the Pilgrim's Progress that they're going to do usually every 3 years when they do their Congress, there are maybe 80 people in it, and we've already had 800 sign up for it. So it's going to be quite a busy place throughout the season. And we're going to be in great need for hotels, et cetera. In Wareham right now, and Alan was correct when he was talking about the fact that we have lost Paul. It was a huge loss to us in Plymouth, and so we're picking the pieces up, and he laid a wonderful foundation, and we're trying to go forward from there. Here in Wareham, the members that we have, or rather partners, because as I always tell everybody, you're not really a member of an organization with us, you're investing in tourism. And that's so important for the entire county, because the county is number one. The number one industry in the county is tourism, as well, of course, as in the town of Plymouth. But here we've got Neat Lady Fishing, we've got the Town Place Suites by Marriott, the Onset Bay Association, AD Makepeace, of course the Chamber, and then I can't remember the name of the village.
Village Association.
Thank you. Yes, the Village Association is also a member. We are going to work very hard in coming years to try to get more and more people to join us, because the things that you have to show to the world, especially the cranberry harvesting and such, is so important. We probably get equally as many questions about that in our visitor centers as we do about things just in Plymouth, because cranberries people are just really curious to see how that process is done. As far as the water, I am told that both your harbor master and our harbor master have been talking, and we are going to plan to send any of our traffic that if it gets too busy, et cetera, we'll be sending traffic to you. And of course, with your boat launch as well, we'll be really promoting that as well to people so that they can, if they need to get away from the crowds and they want to come and launch from here, it might be much, much easier for them. So I'm open to answer any questions, and then I also am happy to take suggestions back.
Alan, one thing, Alan, could you get a link? You must have a schedule, right? Up on the
We do.
website?
We do.
So
and I
maybe
can
you could
send
ask him
that
to put a
you.
link up on our site to
Yeah.
the schedule?
Mm-hmm.
So at least people will be able to know what's going on what days and stuff. That would be kind of nice.
Yeah, we need to, like I say, join back in. It's only $250 a year.
Yeah,
And-
I
and
don't
we can
see
do
why
that-
we
and
can't
can
do that.
I think I reached out to Ken Buckland to talk to you about that.
Yeah, we can deal with that.
The other thing is too, Mrs. Smith is here, our moderator, and her husband and herself, and there's a group called the Wareham Militia, and they're very active. She may want to reach out to you on the way out. She'll probably grab you anyways.
I certainly will take that information back.
And she's leaving to go to Wareham, England.
I know, I heard her say that, and I was going to say, that's wonderful. People from Wareham, England have been here already. Did they come here at
Yeah,
the
yeah.
same
Yes,
time?
they were.
Because they came to us first, I know, and we told them all about Wareham and told them how exciting it would be to do a partnership.
Which,
And
what we're doing.
it's a neat place to visit. You should all try to go. I really enjoyed it when I was
You write
there.
a check and we'll go.
Right. And I also had prepared a PowerPoint, which I couldn't, I'm not really going to try to make it work, but it basically just was, it tells you exactly who we are, what we do, how we operate, and the ways that we can benefit you. So perhaps another time when you don't have, I see you've got kind of a long agenda, but,
Actually, this is not much of an agenda at
oh,
all.
really?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
short.
wow.
For us, this is pretty small.
Yeah.
If you wait until there's someone here that can help me with the PowerPoint, I'll actually do the whole thing and you'll see pictures as well, but.
You know, the guy Derek is not here, our town administrator, and he's like aces with that stuff. And unfortunately, he's not here tonight, otherwise
my
we'd
luck.
have him help you out. Maybe we'll have you back another time if that
I
would be
would
okay.
love to do that because I really would love to show you everything that we're doing and,
Yeah,
and
that would
all
be
of
nice.
the things that we do that benefit the rest of the county as well.
I don't know, I was pretty excited, I'm ready to go there. Hey, your
you-
truck thing, are you having that again this year?
The
Your
truck thing?
food truck
Oh,
event?
well, we
That thing
have-
was huge, I couldn't get
yes.
near the place.
And we have food trucks at many of our events now, the Waterfront
Destination
Festival
Planet.
and the
It's two different
Maritime
groups.
Festival, and yes, there will be.
You had
we
that
do
food
plenty
truck
of that.
weekend there, or whatever it was on that thing. I was packed. I couldn't believe how many food trucks and how many people were there.
Yeah, they got about 100.
Thousands.
They got about 100 trucks.
Yes.
Well,
spread
for
up and
anybody
down.
that wants to get information, and I will send you a bunch of links and I'll send you the actual schedule. But for anybody that wants to get information right away, there are two websites in particular. The first is the one for my office, and since we're C Plymouth, our website is cplymouth.com, S-E-E. seeplymouth.com. And there you can find out all sorts of things to do for the average visitor that's coming 7 days a week that maybe isn't coming just for the events. For the events themselves, we have a website, plymouth400inc.org. And it's PLYMOUTH Plymouth400inc.org. That will tell you about the specific events that I told you about tonight and many others as well. Those are their signature events. They've also list all the events of everybody in town that's doing things. So there's just so much going on. It's a very exciting time for all of us, actually, because it's such an important anniversary to our founding.
Does anybody have any questions they want to ask?
No,
Mary?
go ahead. I don't.
First of all, you're very good at what you do.
Thank you.
To remember all of that and be so excited, I'm sure everyone on your committee was happy to have you come here and talk tonight. Are you looking for volunteers?
Yes, we're always looking for volunteers. We have about 200 signed up, and that sounds like a lot, but it's
not.
really,
No.
truly not.
Not even
85
close.
of them, though, actually paid out of their own money and took courses on leadership and volunteering and all of that. And so we're really excited about it. They're going to be walking around town talking about history and what's going on, and they're going to then continue to work with my office, See Plymouth, after the anniversary is over. Right now, they're specifically working for the Plymouth 400 events, but that's going to be another wonderful legacy. We also have completely redone the waterfront. It's been redredged. We're now getting ready to welcome one cruise for sure, Blount Cruises, but we're also talking to American Cruise Lines about coming in as well. So if you do an anniversary soon, you'll find that there are a lot of wonderful things that come from it. So we're very excited.
Awesome. Alan?
No, it's just something that, I wanted to reach out because I thought it was important and stuff. Again, becoming a member of this organization as well, anything that we do in town, they advertise. And being
Yes.
from Plymouth, they get stuff from all over the world for requests, so for a very small fee, it gives our town a lot of exposure.
Yeah, we can do it if you want.
Yeah, I
You
just-
make a motion.
We don't have to, it's just, you
Well,
can't.
we gotta come up with the money.
I move that we
If you
become
make a
members
motion, we can
of-
get the money. Motion made by Mary,
Yep.
seconded by
I'll second it.
Alan.
I
saw-
told Ken, just write a check.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous. Now we get the money.
Thank you
Now
very
we
much.
hold them to it.
And this is only month 8 for me on this job.
We gotta
So,
get the money,
Alan,
it's
thank you for
250, doesn't
getting in
sound like
touch
much,
with
but
me.
we gotta.
I would have gotten to you
gotta dig
eventually,
into some
but this
pocket.
allowed me to really get in touch a lot sooner, so
I
thank you.
appreciate you coming, really.
Oh, anytime, and
We
I'll look
appreciate
forward to
it.
coming again.
Thank you for your
Thank you
excitement,
so
thank you.
much.
We'll make the arrangements for that.
All right, so next up is the discussion and possible vote on the Stone Path Mall thing. We're gonna put that off because we need to do a little more homework on that. I got some information that was, and maybe we should talk to council about this a little bit. The ABCC didn't really want any part of this at all. But yet they tell me that if they have a farm kind of thing, which, of course, they don't make any of this on site, that's probably
We'll
part
just
of the
make an
problem.
ingredient only.
They only bring it in from some of their, it would be like, some of their, the people that they sell the product to. So, we thought that maybe we'd stick it on the special and see what the legislature did. But then after talking a little bit to some of the people involved, they basically said it's dead on arrival. So I don't know how to handle that or anything of that nature. But I was surprised to hear from Jim that they actually have some of these farm places that do serve you alcohol and do sell you the product. But they make the product. So how does, maybe you can enlighten us.
Well, you put your finger right on the problem, Mr. Chairman. It's to have the farm stand and all that, you actually have to grow the product. So if they were growing malt there, what wheat, I'm not sure what malt.
That's what they do. They produce the malt that everybody uses.
They
Uh,
don't grow it, though.
Actually, they,
Grow it.
yeah, they buy it
They buy it,
in Europe, I think
Yeah,
it
they buy
was,
it in Europe.
and then ship it here.
Right.
and they
So-
ferment it here.
You know, it'd be like if you and I set up a rice wine business and we're shipping all our
Sake.
rice in from Japan. We couldn't get a farm stand exemption because, we didn't grow it here. So,
That's the issue, is that
Yeah.
they don't grow anything.
yeah.
They don't produce anything.
And-
So that sounds like the
We
issue.
had a farm stand in Stowe when I lived out there some years ago, and the town had a bylaw that the farm stands had to grow at least 50% of the products they sold, which really makes it very difficult for a farm stand to actually survive and work, because they were selling a lot of other products, which they all do, and this particular farm stand has been around for a while. They closed them down.
Sounds like they need to dig up a piece of yard and start growing stuff.
Well, they did. They had quite a bit, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah. What you really need is a new type of, call it a craft
Yeah.
license, where somebody who's bringing in some specialty product can in
Sell
some
the
way distribute the result to the public. Yeah, and the only way that you can really do that is by legislation. Now, I don't know if you talked to Ralph or who it was you were talking to, but yeah, Ralph. I mean, Ralph would know, but you know, what will happen is when the petition goes into the legislature, assuming town
They're
meeting
gonna call
passes it, they're gonna call Ralph and the rest of the crew over at the ABCC and say, you know, what do you think? You know, if they give a negative report back,
Which is probably gonna happen.
yeah, I think you probably had a sneak preview of coming detractions. That's the way it's gonna go.
Well, it doesn't mean we can't send it anyway, guys.
No, you can send it.
And see what happens, you know?
I think I'd like to know a little more about what beers they sell. What's the production limits of the beers that they're selling? Do any local,
Field trip.
Field trip,
no, do it, yeah.
field trip.
Do any, how many local liquor stores are carrying the products that they're offering there? I'd like to know a number of things before I could really, you know, looking for special legislation to have.
Basically, they'd have to create a new license, a new type of license.
I think if you reach out to Ralph, you know, off the record, he will make a recommendation, because he's done this before about the nips and the miniatures when I asked the question, off the record. He might give you guidance about how to approach this, because he's good about that.
Well, we need to get some answers for Jim, it sounds like, too, so
Yeah,
we can ask those
combination.
questions.
Yeah, and, you know.
Field trip sounds legitimate here.
Is this something that we're doing for
Move
the
off for Mary to
special
do the
town
field trip, how's that?
But it's,
So
I
we
don't
still
think
have
it's
next week,
urgent,
right?
and could, you know,
Yeah.
I don't think it's,
Well, it's
We
not
have to
urgent,
push it.
except that it would have to get on, you know, otherwise they have to wait until
the fall.
October. Yeah, so.
that's, again, it's,
And that's just to get it to the legislature,
Yeah.
and then that could take a year by the time it gets out of there.
Usually does.
I don't think it's urgent, but I also think it's something like, why do we have to wait for it? It's really, it's not a big deal. It's just a technicality that, because he doesn't grow
Yeah.
it there. He had to get a special license just to open the place in the first
Right.
place.
Yeah.
Because
Well-
there was nothing
What, to-
around here like
Good
it,
point.
so.
to do malting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
No,
all
well,
of his.
because he's serving alcohol
Not the
there.
malting, it's the,
He's got a special license that we,
Serve,
it's a
to
piece of
serve
It's not a
liquor.
it's not a farmer license or
It's
whatever it
not a
was.
tavern.
right,
It's
Right.
not a bar, it's
Right.
not a restaurant,
exactly.
right.
Well, and we only have
So now we
restaurant
want to
licenses.
have, like you said, huh?
Typically, we only have restaurant licenses in this town. We don't allow these kinds of licenses. This is a special license the legislature gave us for him.
Yeah. We had to go for
Because
the,
our licenses are all restaurant licenses. We don't have any pub licenses.
Okay,
That's why if you go into Fan Club or any of those places, they serve food, because they have to.
right.
All right, can we put it on for
Yeah, no, I'm gonna
Can we
keep it
put
on, and I'll
next
do a
week, and
little
then
more
everyone go in
homework
there and see what are,
and see what we can
Talk
find
to the
out for
guy. I'm
you,
sure you'll
Jim,
be
and
very
so on, and we'll
impressed.
go from there.
we'll just have you do it, how's that?
no, well, you guys won't just take my word for it. You
Sure we
won't.
will.
Well, you know, it's,
We're gonna send our specialist in to find out all the info.
I'd ask for a budget.
yeah,
Yes.
I'd like
Can
to,
I get a,
I'd
can I
like to
get some
too
of it?
look at, in a broader sense, you know, we're talking about growth in Wareham. There's quite a bit over here in West Wareham. I mean, what about our licenses, period? And the
Well,
number of them that we have.
We have
And
more,
what's the distribution of them? How many do we have in each category? I don't really see that information like in a nice tabular form
No,
where
we can do
I
that.
can look at it.
yeah, well, they don't actually do it that way, but we could figure it
We
out
could,
that way.
We could.
Yeah,
Yeah, we can.
I just like to be able to look at things and look at numbers and, you know, kind of look as we're looking towards the future. I mean, what do we want to do?
well, we have
This
more
is one special
licenses.
thing, and, you know, I haven't seen the proponents here requesting this and what it would do for them and what they would like to do. I think it would be nice if they came here and requested it. That's just my opinion. I mean,
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, they asked, and now, and we're
So-
trying to come up with answers, and that's what this whole thing is all about, so.
I think
But
it'd
just
be
so you
nice to
know,
have
we
them
have
come
more
in.
licenses than we're allowed to have, because the legislature has seen fit to give us some for economic development. So we have some licenses out there that are really over the number we're allowed to have.
I think we're over 10 now,
Yeah, we're like 10 licenses over.
plus.
Like, you know, like I said, you know,
So-
some answers to questions would be nice.
Could do that.
It was actually nice of the legislature to do that, to keep our economic development growing, which is really nice of them.
We're gonna need more.
Yeah,
Actually.
yeah. But they're talking about, they're working a deal now where they're talking about making it, the restaurants can just get a license as a matter of course.
Yeah, they're also talking about possibly taking, the licensing and give it back to the towns to control it themselves.
Which would
Been
be,
sitting a bill back and forth, but we'll see what happens there.
yeah, well, we'll see what happens.
It's all in flux.
But yeah, we'll find out some stuff, Jim.
That'd be
Okay?
good.
Yeah, all right, no problem.
Right.
All right, vote on the senior work-off program. Oh, Derek's not here, but I think it's in the file, in the thing,
Yep.
right?
What's the hourly rate in that? Did they correct it to $12.75?
$12.75.
Because it's $12 in here.
It's $12.
It's $12.
Is it $12.75? That's a minimum wage and.
No, just as a, because I had someone email me about that. The senior work-off program does not, not so much qualify, but does not follow the minimum wage laws.
Correct.
You could have $7 an hour, whatever you wanted. So what it is they're using 12, and there's a certain number of hours, because that money comes out of the assessors.
And it comes
account
off the
that's pulled off.
taxes.
Well, that comes out of,
To contribute up to 100 hours of service.
Yeah.
Right,
Because I did reach out on that one to ask what the deal was.
right.
yeah.
So I went online and looked at the minimum wages, and I didn't see that was an exception.
I got that answer back, Jim, from,
But I'm just saying, I looked online, I didn't see that. Through you to our council, what's your thought on that?
On the viability of senior work-off?
For
No, the-
$12?
No, because they have a $12 rate instead of a $12.75 rate, which is the minimum wage.
Yeah, I believe the rate is set by the statute. So,
That's what I think, is
I
that's
think,
what it is on the thing.
if
The
there's a
statute would be,
I think the statute leaves it
The
up to the
law, the
towns.
the
Oh.
Mass General Law.
well, okay.
because it's, they're getting
$59.
paid
Yeah,
for
it's Chapter
hours of
59,
working.
Section 5K.
Well, I'll just say this then. If the statute itself doesn't set the rate, and if it's up to us to set the rate, I would set the rate at least at the minimum wage.
I thank you, and that's what I'm trying to.
All right, so here's what it
cross.
says.
I'd
The
like to
town of
see
Wareham has adopted,
$12.75. It's,
here's what it says. The town of Wareham has adopted the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 59, Section 5K as amended, which allows for seniors tax work-off program for 2020. The program offers seniors, now this is for 2020, offers the seniors the opportunity to contribute up to 100 hours of service, prorated if hours less than 100, to the town and receive up to $12 reduction in real estate taxes. So it's not, the pay rate is $12 an hour, but participants will not earn paychecks. Instead, they will receive a voucher to be submitted to the tax collector as evidence in the amount earned to be deducted from their prop taxity bills. Only good for the year of service from January 1st through October 31st. So I'm guessing that they set the rate.
Yeah, which,
it was $12 last year when
Yeah.
the minimum wage went up to $12.
yeah, I'm looking at.
So that's
Well, he
my
can look
only
it up.
concern, is, I would hate to pay the seniors less than the minimum wage, hourly minimum wage.
We would look pretty bad.
I'm
We-
sorry.
Well, the state is,
I'm just waiting for the statute to load.
okay, wait till it loads. Why don't we give them a little time to do that, and we'll move on for now. Appointment of town council, oh my God.
Motion so made.
It's March, it's March.
Motion made by Alan, seconded by
Second.
Jim. Well, I see Jim. Jim, is there any discussion about town council? Are you sure?
I'm
I
positive.
This
just
is your
wanna-
last chance for another year.
It's fine.
No, he's,
All in
Very
favor,
happy.
say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous.
Can I say something while the statute loads?
Yeah.
Buy myself a little bit of time. Thank you very much. You really don't know what an honor it is for me to be able to serve you. And you're smiling at me like I'm making this up. It is.
What, me or? Jim?
No, you, yeah.
I'm smiling because I know we're awesome. We know
Oh,
it's a
okay,
privilege
okay.
to work
Well,
with us.
but
I'm agreeing with you.
all right,
love it.
okay.
I love it.
Well, but no, I'm dead serious. It's,
use
I
the
love
word
working for
challenge.
you, and it means a lot to me. Thank you.
Likewise.
Yeah, it is. It's likewise, believe me.
Yep.
All right, so the next thing up is, guess what? to accept a gift of South Coast Hospital.
Let Jim do the honor.
Just so anybody
Go
knows.
ahead, you could, please.
So now we'll talk about the vehicle, okay?
Man, where is it?
It's there.
I think it's 219,000 for
Yeah.
a ambulance.
It's not
I
there?
have the answer.
Okay, we'll skip that and go back while we're looking.
Sorry about that. So,
It's in the box.
this is Chapter 59, Section 5K. Words. The city or town shall reduce the real property tax obligations of such person over the age of 60 on his tax bills. Any reduction so provided shall be in addition to any other exemption or abatement to which said person is entitled. And no such person shall receive a rate of or be credited with more than the current minimum wage of the Commonwealth per hour for the services provided pursuant to such reduction.
Let's give them the minimum wage.
So
Yeah, we'll have to change
it looks like they changed it from the $12 to,
And I think it'll
there's a
go up,
reference to the minminimum wage.
All right, so change
and
it.
I
So
think it'll
cross
go
that
up
out and write current
75
minimum
cents
wage?
per year
$12.75.
Yeah.
until it hits 50.
It's only for this year anyway.
Do you want to wait and have the town administrator come back next week and do it? Because they set it up based on the budget of monies that were put aside.
But we'll pick, go ahead.
Well, he's gonna do it
Through you
anyway.
to our attorney?
Yeah, not to play acting deputy town administrator, but, you've got X number of dollars, when you set a particular rate, that's going to affect the maximum number of hours you can pay anyway.
That's all it does,
So
is it changes
it's,
the number.
it's just a
the number of
mathematical
hours that
exercise.
you can pay out, that's all.
So you're probably gonna, by going from 12 to 12.75, percentage-wise, what is that, about 7%?
Yeah,
The number of hours just went down 7%.
yeah, so that's all that's
Per
gonna happen,
person.
there's just gonna be less hours
total,
available.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's all he's gonna do, that's all he can do.
Yeah, that's just what I'm figuring. it's
Yeah,
down
and I
to.
mean, if it says the minimum wage, I can't imagine paying seniors less than the minimum wage, that's just not fair.
Thank you. That was my concern.
If it was, and I'm glad Jim chased that down, because according to what it says here, it sounded like,
Well,
they
Derek
had
was trying
already
to
said
sneak
it.
one in on you.
No.
I
No,
think
you know Derek.
sometimes,
there is the, look in your paper, look in your,
sometimes it's just you
I
overlook
can't do it on
things.
mine, it's too small. You know what I mean? Look at,
Yeah.
it's gotta be
He's
there.
cheap.
I think,
Take it
We
right
give them
off of
waitress pay.
It's there, I know it's there.
I think the town administrator might have had the
Cup up there.
paperwork on this one. I think the town administrator might have paperwork on this one.
Yeah, we could
Town meeting article stuff.
wait if you wanted to adjust the
Should be before town meeting article.
counts.
Well, I know
You
what
guys
the
keep
amount was.
talking while I'm looking for this.
He could
Ah,
go from 12,
He can do it.
1,200 to
Should be
12,75.
before the town
He
meeting
can do it. I
articles.
just don't want to mess things up.
Rich, yeah,
No, he
that's,
could.
I'm down
We
to
could wait a
Rich.
week.
I know.
Now meetings, unless I flew right past it.
We could wait a week and see what he wants to do as far as adjustments and or not to the total, as he's preparing it, or if he wants to just adjust the hours so the paperwork's correct or whatever. We could wait for Mr. Sullivan's input, but that's up to you.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
I think it's just going to be an administrative exercise on his end to
That's all
adjust the
it-
hours.
That's all it's
The
gonna be.
hours.
So,
Won't be the dollars.
yeah.
Can't adjust the dollars?
No,
Derek?
no.
Well, that's all right, it's better than nothing, but we'll have to look forward.
Hold on, we'll get there. It's not there?
I'm not seeing it unless I, no.
Wow.
Instead of X amount of dollars, 7% more
Yeah, just be less hours, that's all.
this year.
I'm scrolling through one more time.
It's all based on whatever the assessors piece you take out is.
We're looking for that gift. No, I don't have it.
This is the ambulance?
Yeah.
Yes. I
can-
I don't have the dollar amounts.
I believe was,
Hold on.
I believe the gift was $219,000.
Yeah, but you're sure that's the amount?
Hold on.
You could,
Let me
I
see,
thought
is
it was in the
separate
packet,
email?
but she can't find it in hers, and I can't find it on my little phone here.
Mr. Chairman? If you wanted to, you could simply move to accept the gift of approximately
Approximately, okay, so
And
we can do it
then-
that way? All right. All right, we'll do it that way. All right, so let's
right,
make a motion to accept the gift of South Coast Hospital in approximately $219,000.
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
motion made by Mary, seconded by Alan. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous. Okay, good. All right, that's good. Next up, continued discussion on the trash. You got anything else on that right now, Jim?
Anything new? Yeah, they're already starting to change the final version of the agreement, the restated agreement that we already looked at. So that's all, that's kind of interesting. And never a dull moment, I guess. And we're waiting for, Derek and I, we had met with, was it Sampson and Weston and Sampson?
Weston Sampson.
And it's been a month. We met with, I think, January 29th. And then I think that the figure was a bit more than we thought
Yeah, we're gonna vote on it.
for engineering. So Derek and I just spoke kind of briefly on it. We didn't really get into it. So not much happening with the engineering consultant. It's not like the designing. They're just kind of doing logistics of routes and, you know, comparative costs. If we had a preferred hauler compared to, or in addition to the costs of running the transfer station, which we can pretty much do ourselves, I think, with the people that we have in town hall for employees and hours, and you know, municipal maintenance, Dave Menard, he's good at that, and Derek's the town administrator, and
Yeah, but
So,
I'm not so sure that they're able to put in the kind of time you need to move the trash
well,
from
that's-
the station to the, because
well,
it has
that's
to be
all in the
hauled out of
planning.
there.
That's all in the planning, and it would be, you know, are we going to remain a district? That's all, you know. Doesn't look that way, but if one town doesn't vote in favor of it, it's back to the drawing board.
All right.
Are we going to have an intermunicipal agreement with Carver? We don't know that. Are we going to run something ourselves? Would we sell stickers to Carver? Then we charge a per bag fee to cover the cost of the disposal. Are we going to charge to dispose of recyclables? Or are we going to cover that with the cost of the bags of refuse? I mean, we're working on it, and we've come up with figures. Myself, Joe Benedict, who is on the committee, the CMW Regional Refuse District, he worked in the field for 35 years, you know, as a professional. And he worked out and he did a nice Excel spreadsheet and stuff on it. I just kind of work on paper, and individually, we're coming up with the same numbers of what we believe it could be, what it would cost to operate it.
So have they voted to disband now at this point?
The agreement, which we sent and everybody, I think, reviewed,
We put it on the town meeting.
basically, yeah, what it's saying is it will become an administrative unit, being the Refuse District Commission, and to oversee any payments related to liability, you know, OPED,
So it's
other
dissolution.
insurance. Well, no, not yet. No, it's still, it's just not going to have an active transfer station. But if any of the towns don't vote for this, and I didn't vote in favor of this, it was 4-3 to send the amendment to the towns. And the vote previous to that, which was a surprise.
What is 3? There's not 7 people in the consortium.
No, there's 9. We have 9 voting members.
You have
3
9.
from each town. And now we have 1 selectman from each town too, which is nice. But the,
So what towns voted to basically dissolve?
to withdraw, the town of Marion took the first step and voted to withdraw. So
Okay.
they presented to town meeting. And then the second step is actually to vote to withdraw. First, you propose a withdrawal, then the second step is you actually vote to withdraw. So in the meantime, they're worried about liability moving forward. Although the clock, truthfully, the clock stops for them or whomever when they were resolved. I mean, if they withdrew. And that's all worked out in negotiations. But they've chosen to go another route and are working to have the district just as an administrative unit and not as a functioning refuse disposal unit with a transfer station. They have curbside pickup. They overrode Proposition 2.5 in order to go from municipal to a contracted private hauler last year. Wareham and Carver do not have municipal curbside pickup. So we're in a different situation. I know the selectman from Carver is in favor of keeping the transfer station open. I don't know about the town administrator. It's kind of a split faction over there. I think it's in our best interest. I believe that we could sell stickers for under $100 and then cover the cost of trash, different size bags. And of course, the larger your family and the more or the less resourceful you are in, trying to minimize waste, the more you're going to pay. I think the breaking point would be like 3-point-something people in a household. Then maybe you're better off going to a private hauler. But that's going to go up. Right now, it's like $500, $525. That's going to go up to $600, $700 because trash isn't getting cheaper to get rid of.
Have you had any discussions with Covanta at all?
We have as a not as a town with Covanta. Derek was saying that we should be talking with them.
Yeah.
I did set up to have a tour of the facilities. And I invited Bob Belden. He's the selectman from Carver. I'm just trying to firm up dates. So I spoke with him about that. We did get a proposal of tonnage cost per ton. I think it was a 5-year contract they were willing to do. And it went from 76 or 78 up to 80 or whatever over the period of time, 2.5% a year, which isn't bad per ton for the solid waste. Recyclable is more to dispose of than solid waste. Then you do your white goods and you have a container there and you sell that tonnage, you make a few bucks there, and you charge a couple bucks to get rid of a washer or a dryer, $5, lawnmower, $3, a stove, another. So, I mean, there aren't a lot of towns still have transfer stations. And, I'm online looking at what they're doing and the prices they charge, so. We're moving forward, I think.
Okay. All right, let's just keep going on that. We're going to keep it on here, though, because like I said, we've got a short amount of time to come up with a resolution. All right, next up is continued discussion and possible vote. Oh, wait a minute, let's go back. Let's vote on, I just, through the miracles of electronics, I sent a thing to Derek, and Derek says, yeah, he says it'll just shorten the number of hours that are available. He said, and that's, so we can do it, it's fine.
Okay.
It'll be what it is.
Okay.
So, motion by Alan, seconded by Jim. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous, so the work-off program is back on.
Thanks, Jim.
Next up is continued discussion and possible vote. Could I have the sheet there on, not the special, but this one?
No.
Okay. Let me have that, because we're gonna have to, why don't we add that to the special, right? Isn't that we have to add those to the special?
This one? Yes.
Got an article to add, right? Why don't you go read that one first?
Just one, yes. Okay, to see if the town will vote to authorize the Board of Selectmen to petition the Massachusetts Legislature for special legislation to amend the Home Rule Charter, Section 4-5, additional town administrator appointments by striking it in its entirety, or to take any other action relative thereto. Is this, what is this?
Hadn't even seen that one. To
Is
see
that from the
that
charter?
Massachusetts
committee?
legislation.
Yeah, and it has
It
to
is.
do with appointing the town treasurer collector as a, for an indeterminate period of time.
It's no longer, as if the explanation, it says it's no longer necessary, because we don't have that appointment anymore.
Yeah, right.
But the period, I think it,
I got it here. I got the thing here. Basically, you're right. We don't do this anymore. It's already appointed.
but when you, right, but it's for, but the type of appointment, does that change? Is it important to have that for an indeterminate period of time? Not permanent, not indeterminate. So it's difficult to get rid of a person in that
Comes one of
position.
Derek's appointments.
But it's not saying that we appoint them.
No, we don't appoint him.
No,
Derek
it
appoints him.
didn't say that in the,
We just
it didn't say that in the charter now.
No, when we
It just
changed,
says an indeterminate period of time, I believe, as a, I don't have it in front of me, but I did read it.
well,
So that's the question I have.
when we
What's the
changed it
difference?
from elected to appointed, it became an appointment of Derek's just like every other appointment.
And that was there after they had been appointed, but it's for an indeterminate period of time.
Well,
You have
Derek-
various types of appointments. So by changing that, do we make it easier, does that position become less stable? Does it, can a person, can they exercise their own judgment? Without,
What do you mean?
I don't know what you're saying.
can they exercise their own judgment without feeling pressure of people they report to?
Well, no, why would you want that?
Well, I
They report
believe-
to Derek.
I believe the town accountant can have, exercise certain judgments.
Under Mass General Law, they have
Yeah.
certain things she has to work on.
So that was my only
But the
concern
town-
is,
Town treasurer and town collector have the same issues.
Yeah, they have some state
Under the Mass General
requirements
Law,
that they
too.
have to follow, obviously.
well,
Always have,
Maybe-
although, it hasn't been that way in the past. The reason why we changed it from one to the other is because we had a collector that didn't work out so well.
It's a skilled position also.
It's a very skilled
I
position.
know, and it specifies, it's already in the charter and whatever, what minimum qualifications they have.
Yeah.
And so, maybe our counselor could opine on this. My concern about being a, being appointed for an indefinite period of time, does it make any difference? Are they, it was a tough read.
Yeah, I
It
think-
depends
Well,
on
but
which
it
one you're
goes
reading.
back to, once it became one of Derek's appointments. That's how we set it up when we did it. Yeah.
Had additional town administrator appointments. Town administrator shall appoint a town treasurer collector for an indefinite term.
Right.
Treasurer collector shall receive, take charge, sorry. About that, so, appoint for an indefinite term, then it specifies the duties,
Mhm.
and so on. And so what our charter, let's see, no person shall be appointed or removed except as provided in subsections 1, 2, and 3 following. And then it sets out experience requirements. And then our article, get to it, says, or the motion would be, I move that the town authorize the Board of Selectmen to petition the legislature for special legislation to amend Section 4.5 by striking the section in its entirety. Okay, so all that's gone. And why?
I don't know. And
From-
what's,
Yeah, now just looking at the explanation from April 2001 to 2004 town meeting and the annual elections changed the position of elected town collector to an appointed one, okay? The changes were approved by the Attorney General's office, okay? Article 4 of Section 4.5 was created to ensure a smooth transition, okay? It is no longer necessary. I'm not sure why that is.
I'm not either.
It was,
Yeah.
wasn't the point of that to make sure that the individual that was in the job at the time could stay there until they were ready to leave, hence the
Yeah.
appointment?
Yeah,
That's all
yeah.
that was there for.
I guess, maybe probably what I would just need to have explained to me from maybe the Charter Review Committee is if you take out 4.5, which says the TA makes the appointment, who makes the appointment? And for how long? So it's,
Yeah,
just deletes everything,
yeah, you really
Yeah.
can't take that out.
but what replaces it?
It
Yeah, you
makes
You
can't-
see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it makes a comment here at the end that says the job description is managed by the Director of Human Resources. So maybe that position gets reviewed through them and the town administrator signs off, then comes to us.
There's
Yeah,
minimal
we have
criteria
our-
set there.
We have too many questions here.
Yeah, we'll just put it aside. We'll put it aside.
Request the Charter Review Committee to come back with some explanation on it.
Yeah, well, yeah, we'll work it out.
Yeah, I mean, it may be that
Make some corrections or whatever. and
that
find
it's
out
now a
what-
quote-unquote department head and is just appointed like any other department head under the TAs.
Well, that's what it is. I mean, it comes to be any department, and what the whole idea of the appointment, and I know it was there when we did it, the whole idea of the appointment was to make it so that he just was a regular employee of the town, appointed by Derek like every other appointment, with our having the right to have the 14 days
To affirm or not.
to confirm and not to
After we've been
confirm.
notified
Right.
officially.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Someone's
after
been
proof of
appointed.
notification.
But, I mean, it does spell out, minimal qualifications of what they can do, what they need just to apply for it also, in the charter, correct?
Right now, yes.
Yeah.
And I suppose, just to maybe argue the other side of the coin, what the proponent is going to say is you'd have your opportunity to reject the appointment if you thought the person was unqualified.
But it does sound, though, that was, I mean, the town administrator has had and does have the authority to appoint.
Yes.
He just has to use those guidelines as far as if they want to dismiss and/or minimal qualifications, and the
He's had
appointments
that.
for a indefinite period.
There's only one person he doesn't appoint, and that's the health agent. He doesn't because there's a statute that says the health agent's appointed by the Board of Health. Other than that, he appoints everybody else.
Right.
He does,
Well,
he is
that-
allowed to do the work to get there by coming up with a certain number of individuals, but it's up to the board to make that.
And the way that's written does not preclude him from appointing the treasurer-collector
Right,
at this
and that's
point
the
in
way it
time.
should be, yeah.
It doesn't already.
No, I know that, and
Yeah.
that's the way, because that's how we wrote it. We wanted to make sure that he was,
Correct.
that it was his appointment.
Yeah, really what it
We're gonna
does is
have
it
to- We're gonna have to look at this a little
seems to
closer.
eliminate the experience guidelines.
Yeah, okay,
And being appointed for indefinite period. That's where I was struggling.
okay.
Again, I think this goes back to because we went from an elected to appointed, this was a transition. If you look at Section 8 of the Charter,
It was a transition, yeah.
in Section 8 of the Charter, when we made these transitions, we used to put them in there. I think in this particular case, in 4.5, what the Charter Review Committee is looking at things that are redundant or are no longer applicable and removing the piece, because this was done originally for that particular piece.
In fact, I'm sure Claire remembers the issue that was in the office at the time, and we had just that issue. We had to move on someone else in order to transfer it over. It was a big to-do.
Yeah, because when someone is elected, they have to stay until their term is over anyways, when it's an elected position of this type.
You can't terminate them, but they
You can't terminate because they're
can leave
elected.
if they want.
Yes, if they want.
Well, you have, all the regular issues. I mean, you can terminate for cause, like anything else.
An elected position is hard,
Not an elected official.
but that's what
Although
this
there
was
have been
before.
elected officials that have been removed,
Yeah,
i.e. the assessor's office, happened once before.
can be done,
Do you remember that too? I remember that too.
yeah.
It can be done. They can happen. Yeah, goes back
Connecticut running the city.
been around too long, I guess, I don't know. All right,
All right, are we
so
voting on this or
we're gonna
no?
put that aside for
All
now,
right.
and then we'll get some clarification. And Judy asked if I wanted her here, and at the time I didn't, because I thought it was pretty cut and dried, but it seems that it's not, so we'll get her back here, and then maybe she'll have some more information for us, too. All right,
No problem.
next up. All right, so we need to vote on the election articles and start to get these out of the way before Claire has my head. Okay, so, obviously, the election of officers, reoccurring business, compensation of certain appointed officials, revolving funds, occasional reports. We should do those, we can do those all together, that's 1 through 5. We can do them together, those are
Motion
just,
so made.
okay, motion made by Alan, seconded
Second.
by Jim. This is to recommend, obviously. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, abstaining, okay, so, that's the first 5. All right, now the capital planning, we don't have anything on that. We don't have anything on the budget yet, because he's not here, or the EMS budget. Believe it or not, we do have the Upper Cape budget. I don't know if anybody's seen it, but I don't have the number here tonight to give you, so.
I haven't seen it.
Well, it was emailed to us.
Yeah,
so-
yeah, it's less than last year, right?
Yeah, because we have less kids.
Give a reduction.
So, yeah.
We
So
don't
the-
have much choice anyhow on
so-
that.
Well, and we don't have any choice, actually. Because
We do.
Yeah, we do. If we vote against it,
Then
and
they-
another town does out of the 5, then it goes back.
if 3 out of the 5 vote in favor of it, we gotta pay it no matter what.
No, all it is if 2 vote, yeah. Forget it.
But the
You
point
are
is
both
that it's
correct.
less than last year, and it's probably okay, but I don't have the number to tell you what it is right this minute, so.
Yeah, I mean, they do it for like
We'll
$11,000
do it over.
a student.
Water pollution control, we won't have those. We should get these next week when Derek's here. We'll probably have a lot of this, so.
Yep.
Resolution to endorse the 2020 master plan. We can vote on that if you want.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Alan,
Second.
seconded by Mary. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous. It's 400, these votes, right? Okay. Master plan.
You can do 12 through 14 altogether if you want.
All right, I'm gonna read them anyway.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Okay, next one is amend the sign bylaw.
You're going way too fast for Jim now.
No, I
Man,
got an issue
hold
on
on.
one of them.
Amend the sign bylaw, amend the zoning bylaw definitions of two-family or duplex dwellings, amend the zoning bylaw update to the FEMA floodplain, Community Preservation Fund Reserve, we actually have that already.
Yeah.
We can vote on that, too, we already have that number.
Motion to approve that one.
What are we doing, 12
No,
through
15.
15 alone? Okay.
Yep.
Motion to approve 15.
Second.
Seconded by Mary. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, abstaining. It's,
Let's go back to 12, because Jim wants to speak about one separate.
all right, 12. Go ahead, Jim.
No, I'm good on 12.
12,
To approve.
13?
Motion to approve 12 is written.
Okay, motion to approve, recommend 12. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous. Okay, amend the zoning bylaw definitions, two-family or duplex?
You okay with that one?
Yeah, it's better than it was if we have, by having a definition.
Yep.
Okay,
So, yeah.
all right. So,
Motion to approve.
motion by Alan, seconded by Mary. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous. Amend the zoning bylaw, update of the FEMA floodplains.
Okay, there's 2 parts in there. One's to accept the FEMA map, which is fine. I think that's 220 or 2 something.
We don't have any choice but to
Well,
accept it.
no, can we,
I would say nay on that, but we don't have any
nay
choice.
on what?
I wouldn't accept the map. I think that everything that they've done when they redesigned the flood map was to hurt a lot of our people in this town when they went from 15 feet to 17 to.
18.
17.2, I think, or
Yeah, it's
17.3,
around the
whatever it
18.
is. Call it 18. We have people that built to the standard they required, 15 feet out of the thing, and now they're back in the
And you gotta
floodplain
be 2
again.
feet over that.
Exactly. So
But-
now they're in
so-
trouble again.
I think we've already accepted the
Well-
changes. This was the, if I'm correct here, this is the people who took the time and requested a review
Yeah.
of their particular properties to be included and not included in it. You might want to get some more information on that one.
Okay.
You know, but what, in the overall sense, I didn't have a problem with that. It was the other one which strikes a lot of language in the zoning bylaw about being able to rebuild in the velocity zone, or be able to build, period, in the velocity zone. Now, we just voted to apply for, what is it, the CRS? And I think they look for local zoning, you know, to get points that helps you, or helps keep people from building in hazardous areas. I don't know if it's to our benefit to do away with that section at this point in time.
Well, you know, if, the way it is right now, without accepting anything, if you have a house in a velocity zone that gets blown away, you gotta put it up now, the 17.3 feet or whatever, and you can build the house back in its place. So, and that's acceptable.
That's, well, our zoning bylaw says that if it's damaged over 50%, that you can't. And it also states, I believe, that you can't build in a velocity zone.
Well, you can't build a new house in a velocity zone.
But they want to strike all that language.
Well, then we're gonna have to talk about that, because
So that's.
I'm not gonna
but-
take somebody's right
so
away
what I
to
would-
rebuild their
yeah,
house. I can
what
tell you
would-
that right
What I
now.
would suggest doing is dividing or splitting that. And I've seen things come from planning where they tend to lump, and sometimes they're, even though they're related, that they have different,
Intentions.
yeah.
But if they're trying to strike that out, that isn't what I understood that was going on here.
Well, that's-
And what I saw wasn't what I saw.
Why don't we go ahead and ask someone from planning to come speak to us on
Yeah,
Article
we'll
14?
do that.
And the planning board, I believe, I was at the meeting, voted to support the first part, but not the second part. So and I believe that you need to approve the acceptance of the floodplain, or be at peril of losing people not having, certain insurance, or.
Yeah, you can't get your FEMA insurance at all then. You lose it.
So, it might be good to split the question on that, so that you get the one that we're gonna need passed. And,
Well, there's no way I'm taking somebody's right away to build back. See, all of the regulations right now, everything, and including what's in our zoning bylaw, if you have a house here and it's damaged, and you fix it within the 2-year frame, you can do it. As long as you meet the requirements of FEMA, which is that it's above the floodplain, meaning moving it up in the air. And intend to keep it that way, and if they think they're gonna change it, they're gonna have a fight from me.
well, I think they're trying to relax our local language and follow strictly the state building code.
Well,
So, and I'm not sure how it would impact us if we're applying for the grant with the CRS, when it's looking at numbers. So they want one thing, and then you're changing bylaws to the other.
we're gonna have to do a little more homework on that one, for sure. All right,
So maybe you want to split or divide that
Yeah, we may have
when
to.
it goes on to the
Or we
warrant.
may have to just reject the thing in its entirety,
Yeah, it's already
and
gone.
then come back at it another time.
I don't think you can split
in
it now.
October.
Support the first part, but not
Yep,
the
I'm
second.
not sure the moderator will let them split it.
Well, I don't know,
Well, if we could amend it.
Yeah, what you could do is if it gets to the floor, is just somebody makes a motion to Madam Moderator and says, I move to divide the question,
Yeah.
and then you vote it in two parts. You know, if this language can't be further clarified, you just
Right.
do it that way.
Okay. All right, next up is charter amendment to appoint the town clerk, the charter amendment to add sewer commissioners, the charter amendment to delete the boards. Remember those, we had those come before us before, we've already had our discussion on that, so 17, 18, and 19. Could I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Motion by Mary, seconded by
Alan.
Alan. All in favor, say aye.
We have just a quick discussion. Is that in support of it, or is that to place it?
To recommend.
Recommend it.
It's already placed.
Right.
Replace
So
the
we're
law.
recommending these articles. These are changes to the charter.
Right.
This is just
I'm
cleanup stuff, anyway.
Well, the appointed town clerk part is not a cleanup.
No,
That's changing it.
correct.
I'm kind of,
All right, I'll tell you what. I'll go back and I'll say 17, appointing the town clerk. Could I have a motion, please? Motion made by Mary, seconded by Alan. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
aye.
Okay.
Nay.
So it's 3-1-0. All right, next up, to recommend. Next up, charter amendment, okay, so 18 and 19. Motion, please.
19, I'm not in favor of that.
Okay.
18.
All right, number 18.
move that
Could
we
motion from Mary, seconded by Alan. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous, 400. 19, charter amendment to delete the road commissioners. Okay,
Recommend.
motion to recommend by Mary, seconded by Alan. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed,
Now, yeah, if,
3-1-0.
yeah, but just for a quick discussion point on it.
Okay,
If we had made, or if someone took and changed the bylaws, the town bylaws, to include the road commissioners in that document, I'd be in favor. But I think they have and provide a value. You have the chief
well,
of
we're
police.
not getting rid of them completely, they're just going back to us.
Well,
It's just
yes,
coming
we
back
are-
to the Board of Selectmen.
But the road commissioners have the chief of police on it, the town planner on it, municipal maintenance on it.
Well, we have
And
access to all of
and
the people.
there's four at-large citizens. So every time, I mean, even though the authority would be ours, we'd have to request those individuals to be here at 7 o'clock at night, or whenever we're gonna have our road commissioner hearings. I just think it works pretty well the way it is. That's all.
Okay.
That's fine.
Next up, transfer of the John Williams Elementary School, and that's the last one.
Move to recommend.
Moves to recommend by Mary, seconded by Alan. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed,
Aye.
abstaining, it's unanimous. Okay. So the other two are petition articles,
Well,
the
we
same
still-
petition
No,
articles.
but we still make our recommendation even on petition articles.
Well, we haven't in the past, but we can if you want.
I think we have, actually.
Okay, you want to make okay.
On the
They're
first-
both the same for,
Well,
with
they're-
one little change,
Just one word.
so,
So on 21, I would, basically, I believe that they're going to pull that one.
okay, well, they haven't, so,
Well, they will, though, I think, at town meeting, simply because they went ahead and did what I recommended and came back with 22 to correct it. It's the same article, it's just one word new.
uh-huh.
So
All right, so what do you want to do?
I would make a motion not to be in favor because it's wrong.
Okay, motion to not recommend Article 21. I have a motion to not recommend Article 21. Do I hear a second? I'll second it out of necessity, yeah. Any discussion about it? All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Sorry, I'm
Opposed?
just mentally still thinking that one over.
Abstaining?
I'm gonna abstain because I don't
Okay. 3-0,
stand the,
3-0-1.
Keeps changing.
Okay, now what do you want to do with 22? What do you want to do with 22?
Well, we just need to make a motion what our opinion is only, so
Yep.
it's pretty easy. I'll make the motion to accept 22.
To recommend it?
Yeah, then we can vote how we want afterwards.
I'll
Okay.
second that.
Okay, motion made by Alan, seconded by Jim. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, so it's two to two. So the
That's fine.
motion fails, right?
We'll put the
just
vote in as 2-2.
2-2.
We're not recommending it, it's a
All
zero.
right, so next up is, does somebody want to make a motion to not recommend it?
No, I think we just,
Okay, we can
We
just
just
leave it
don't-
like it is, but it's up to you.
no, I think we just leave it as it is.
Okay,
We're split.
I just give you the option. You have an option,
Nope.
You can do it either way.
Do it one, do it two.
So if you just want to leave it that it fails,
No, it doesn't fail, it's 2-2, so there's no, the motion to approve doesn't,
yep, that's what it's going in like, 2-2.
yes.
That's fine. All right,
Yeah, it's a touchy article, so.
all right, so that's
that
the
way.
end
I
of,
wish it wasn't even on there.
that's the end of those.
Whatever.
All right, so that takes care of all that.
Can't get wrapped up in it.
I'm sick of it.
And is there any other town business not reasonably anticipated last 48 hours? I believe there is not.
No,
Derek is not here tonight, so we don't have a town administrator's report.
we will
So-
have, next week's, has the audit reports, all 3 phases.
Yeah, they're
It'd
here
be
already.
extremely good if everybody could read through it in case they have any questions for Derek.
We have them already. All right, next up, liaison reports. Alan, you're up first.
Okay, capital planning this past week updated their listings on the school projects that weren't in the list originally, and also water pollution control facility. So I think Derek is going to have to make decisions going forward with free cash and what comes up for capital planning for the actual capital items for town meeting,
Yeah.
the regular one plus the special.
Well, that's got to get resolved before. I
Yep.
want to try to get that out of the way by next week, all of those things, if we can help.
It could be that this goes right to the last minute,
Well,
unfortunately.
we
I know,
can't do
but it's
that.
just-
We
it's
got to
a-
stop that.
Well, I
We
think
got to
it's-
get it done.
I think you're going to see it happen. I'm going on Thursday up to Boston as part of the MMA legislative group to the State House to testify and discuss with the legislators I think it's the 11 billion, whatever the bond bill is for transportation, et cetera. And there's also a bill in the Senate, which like they're seriously considering changing the Chapter 90 funds from 200 million to 300 million. So I'll be visiting on that one also. This is something that I've been working on for a while, pushing through. So we'll see how that goes. And then I get back hopefully in time. Frank Gay, our resident, who's been the basically director of GATRA, has officially retired. His replacement came in last week. And there'll be a party for him up at the, I think it's Stone Forge up in Raynham.
I have a question. So Chapter 90 funds should be the funds that come from the gas tax,
Of course.
okay? So how is it that they don't have a number all the time? Because they know roughly how many gallons of gas they're pretty close.
It's
They
not-
can estimate
Yeah,
the numbers of gas, and that number, no, wait a minute, I'm making a point here.
Go ahead.
And that should be going into the budget as Chapter 90 funds and should be divided accordingly. But they don't give all the money
No.
on the Chapter 90 funds
They never
back
have.
to the budget.
No.
So all the money that we're paying in gas tax to take care of the roads and bridges and so on is being absconded and put somewhere else.
Just like the federal government does the same way.
Okay,
Where they
so
make you feel
that's a
better.
great idea, by the way. So that works really well. So you put, and now they want more money from us to
Yes.
put into the budget for roads and bridges. But they're going to give that to who?
The tea.
The T.
Charlie.
Of course. All right, so this is really good. This works out, this is brilliant stuff. I just want you to know. We set up a special fund earmarked for a certain reason, roads and bridges, which are collapsing around us everywhere, right?
And they use the word transportation, that's how they get around it all.
And guess what? That money doesn't apparently make it
Doesn't go
to
where
us
it
like
should
it
be.
should.
Well, we've been getting 200.
What do we get? Enough money to do what, a mile a year?
Yeah, about that. It's basically, you're getting $200 million for the last 6 years, And if you look at the cost of the roads to build today versus, say, 8 years ago even,
Yeah.
plus the inflationary rate, which is 34%, you're basically getting $100 million of actual money in actual dollars, what you can do.
Yeah.
So even if they go to $300 million, you still really need somewhere between 500 and 600 million a year to even maintain what you have right now.
Which I bet they take in the gas tax.
Remember, that thing goes to all kinds of things besides just roads.
Yeah.
It's transportation, the magic word.
Well, but it was
Could
supposed
be
to
new
be,
shoelaces, anything.
well, they can
MBTA is a
change
big
the
title.
word all they want, but it's supposed to be roads and bridges.
I know what it's supposed to be, but it's,
So, I mean, I remember it. I mean, I was there for it.
well, you're old.
Of course, I remember the T when we had the tolls on the, does anybody remember when they were putting the tolls on the turnpike for 20 years?
Yeah.
And then they were gonna take them down? Does anybody remember that?
Yeah, but they-
I'm way too young for that.
All right.
I
well,
think it was-
They were gonna take them down.
Yeah, but it wasn't in normal years.
After 20 years, they were coming off. That day came and went, and those tolls are still there.
But they removed the booth.
Just temporary.
They did remove the booth. Now they just put cameras up instead, so they grab you another way. And I love it, because if you don't have a transponder, you get charged extra money.
Yeah.
And I got news for you. You talk about loan sharking,
They
right?
charge extra?
If you,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
they charge more than the toll. But if you miss the payment for some reason or another by a day, right? The next amount is huge. It's like,
yeah, I
all of a
know.
sudden it costs you $35 to go through the toll booth.
That's what it is. Okay, so. that's what
Okay,
we got there.
anyway, Alan, go ahead. I'm
All right.
sorry. I hate to digress, but
No,
I
I'm not
just-
even close.
These things just get me angry.
Man, yeah, stay away from tax wording over here.
I just get angry.
gets fired
It just
up.
angers me.
As per prior meeting, we're talking about dams and stuff, just to let you know, I did bring one of the people from the Fisheries and Wildlife over to our 2 dams
Oh, good.
last Friday. I've already got responses back from them about what they can do, et cetera. Basically, the Parker Mill Dam, which is where the Tremont Nail Factory is,
Tyona
and
did.
at the Honet Dam upstream.
Oh, good.
So I have the information. I've asked them about funding and stuff after they sent me back, because they recommended I think it's the seawall, and I forget what the projects are. There's money for dams and seawalls under one of the state programs. There's money that we can apply for under MVP program, et cetera. And they don't have any money, which I figured this time around, that they have personally. They don't get funding again till late in 2020. And the NOAA, they're going to look into NOAA to see if that funding is available that was before. So I'll keep everybody up to
You
date
know, it's
as
for
we go.
transportation of fish.
Yes, it will be.
Oh, we can get some of that gas money.
Maybe we get some gas money.
You can go fishing for smelt.
Maybe we get some gas money.
No, but it's a sign.
Probably not.
Transportation.
Well, that's how the
Can't do it
fish
for
get up
dams.
and down the river.
Oh, man.
Okay, so that's what we have there. I'll keep everybody informed as we go along with this. Both Derek and Ken Buckland have been given the information I have.
Okay,
It's really
thank
going to
you.
have to work through them.
All
And
right.
Da- And Dave Menard as well. It's not really in our purview per se at that point. I think the only other thing I have left, I got a call and an email from a group that wants to put on a program for navigating cannabis through your town municipality.
What is it?
It's a panel. I think it's going to be a
Navigating
TV program or
cannabis?
something. yeah.
Navigating cannabis?
Cannabis,
What is that?
marijuana.
What is that?
If you have a town that has marijuana voted for, how do you get through to do the licensing and all the other things that go with it?
Oh, okay.
So for some reason, they reached out and asked me if I want to be on a panel. Not too sure about that.
Oh, yeah, well, you could be the cannabis czar.
I could probably provide you with gummy bears later.
Yeah, you should have Ken do it.
Jeez.
Cannabis Ken.
So
That's a
I was
little
kind of
scary.
surprised to get that call and that
CK.
email, but just to let you know that it's just a wonderful way to get in trouble.
Okay. How about you, Jim? What do you got? It's a hot act to follow.
Well, it's not my committee. The zoning board of appeals is down to like 4 full-time members. And I know Mary put something in the paper. And if you could say, you know, we need people on committees.
It's a very important committee.
Yeah, and it's tough because if you don't have 5 members there, it puts the people coming in front of the board at a disadvantage.
Right, because they need
4 out of 5. So if one person went against them with 4, they're out of luck.
right.
And, you know, so they're kind of stressed a little bit, so it'd be nice,
Well, we'll have to see
people
who we
listening
can
out there, and, you know, a bunch of committees, go online, look at committee openings and, take part in your local government.
I have to make a few calls myself. I think I might be able to grab a couple of people.
I've spoken to a couple people, and,
It's hard.
Yeah, I think I could grab them a couple of people.
yeah, and I won't say any more.
All
That's
right.
all, thank you.
All right, let's see. Mary?
No, I have nothing for the lead, nothing, no.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna, I have a whole bunch of stuff. I went to a couple of meetings and things, but I'm gonna wait till next week, because by then I'll have the follow-up for the thing I did this week.
Okay.
I went to meet with Bourne again, and they're gonna have there's a sewer commissioners meeting on Thursday night. So by next week, I'll have all the details on that, so we'll talk about that. Plus Derek will be here, and he'll probably wanna hear that stuff anyway. All right, consent agenda. We have, and right away, we got a bill. We just appointed him.
Oh, we just paid him.
We don't have a bill? Sure you do. She what? Well, it's the same bill every
It
month.
might not be in there, but it's in here.
It's in the thing, yeah. It's the same bill every month anyway.
Okay, I move that we approve
Richard Bone's
our
payment.
newly
yeah.
reappointed
New
council.
You want this one right here?
motion made by Mary, seconded by Alan. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous.
Oh, is it on that?
Yeah, isn't it?
Approval, you earned it.
$150.
Approval of meeting minutes from February 11th, February 18th, and February 25th.
Because none of them look like that.
Motion to approve.
Well, is everybody here, or are we gonna make
Sorry,
sure?
yes.
Was everybody
Are
at the?
we doing this one at a time or all three?
No, you can
Do
do
you
them
That
all
was
together.
good.
You can do them all
Does anybody have
together.
any questions on these? Can I do them all together?
I was okay on the ones I
Jim
looked at.
is mostly who I'm asking this question to.
Well, it just went out. It went out on me. Because
That was-
I actually highlight these things when I go through them.
Yeah, we're supposed to make, it, if we see something wrong,
You know,
Yeah,
no
you gotta correct
highlights,
it.
so
Is
you're
everybody
good.
here?
You're good.
Yes, everybody
Okay.
was here on all of them.
All right,
So,
motion made by Mary to approve
Alan.
February 11th, 18th, and 25th of a regular Board of Selectmen's meetings, minutes, seconded by,
by Mary.
you made the motion.
Alan did.
Oh, how did that change? All right, so Alan made the motion, Mary's the second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous.
Motion
Okay.
to adjourn.
Oh, wonderful. Motion to adjourn. Okay, that's accepted.
Yes.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
No second? You mean you want to sit here for a while? Motion seconded by Jim. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous. Have a great week, Wareham. We'll see you next week,
Good
when
night,
maybe we're
Wareham.
not so goofy.
Hope you all voted.